Alright, I found me a boring bar. This is a 3/4 bar, and it's the perfect length to get all the way through here. And dug me up a little high-speed tool bit. I just went over and touched it up and honed me a little radius on the corner. I'm going to use this tool bit. It fits in the hole there. So what I'm going to do is I need a different wrench. Alright, that's the right one. I'm going to come over and touch the side of that with that tool bit and just snug up that set screw. Alright. Alright, I'm touching on that side and just touching that corner right there. So we're good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and I've already got it on 0. So what I'll do is just go ahead and let's see where we're at. We've got to take about 1/8 of an inch, but I want to take a light cut through there just to see how it's going. I think I'll just move it 10, but that'll be 20 thousandths off the diameter. Okay. I think I got just enough travel to go down through both of them. We're going to try it fast first to see how it cuts. If I'm getting a bunch of chatter, then might have to slow it down. I gotta get my feed set up here. Alright, I'm going to disengage the feed. I'll bring it on down. Just bring it close and engage it, start it again. I think I was just through at the bottom. We'll have to monitor that. Okay, I'm touching on both sides. I am getting some chatter because of this long bar. I might go ahead and try it again and see what kind of cut it'll do. It is a little bit fast, but alright, I'm just going to play with it and see. Now, I got to figure out how I'm going to get a measurement I guess what I can do is just run it on down a little bit. And I know I got plenty more cuts that I got to take, so I'll just do it this way for now. Yeah, see, we're still well under 1 inch there. I'm gonna go ahead and take 1 revolution on the boring head, and that should be 50, and we'll give that a shot and see how it likes it. If it gets too rough, then I'll probably just slow it down. Doesn't like it all the way at the top there. There we go. Looks like we're going to be cutting the full length of it now. Okay. So I'm just roughing it out, getting it close. So what I'm going to do is, you know, that chatter, I don't like it. It doesn't look good. But what I want to do is, I'm just roughing it out. So it just did make it through the bottom too before it backed off. So what I'm going to do is rough it out, get a little closer, and then I'm going to slow it down and run it at a slower RPM and hopefully eliminate some of that chatter. I went ahead and slowed down the RPM. It was just way too fast. It was trying to chatter. It was getting worse and worse. So I slowed it down to 210 on the motor here. Making another pass through there, getting real close to my size. Went ahead and slowed it down again because the chatter just getting too bad. So just slowing it down, taking it nice and easy. Okay, I'm on the last cut now. Just dialed in my offset that I want, and it's going to bring it to 2 3/1000ths over 1 1/8. But I ran into a problem on this last cut. I've noticed that I'm cutting into where the bolt comes across there. Now it's just starting to touch it, and if I would have thought about this ahead of time, I would have offset the hole this direction just a little bit, but I didn't think about that. So now we got to deal with it. So what I've done is I moved the table that direction so that this finished cut is not cutting anymore on this side of the hole here. So most of your cut will be on this side right here. It'll just barely touch this side, so that we're not taking any more out of this right here, because you know your bar's got to go in there and the bolt's got to go through. So once I get it bored, then we'll have to fit it and see how it works out. I think it's just enough to where it will work. I might even have to chuck these bolts up, these two on this side, and you know, machine the threads off right here in the middle to give it clearance, so that when it does bolts up. So we're gonna find out here in a little while how it worked. So what I had to do, been getting a pretty good cut now. So what I did, I slowed it down. I'm running 135 RPM, and I kicked the feed up to the 5/1000 feed rate on the quill, and that helped out a lot. And I'm having to get every bit of this travel out of this quill to get all the way through there. When it gets to the very bottom, I got maybe about 1/8 of an inch or so that I'm having to hand crank the knee slowly up to bring it all the way through there. You can see the offset of the cut. Most of the cut's on this side, and that side there is just barely touching it. Okay, that's my finished pass, and I just checked the top right here with my telescope gauge, and I'm reading 1/1000ths over inch and an eighth, 1.126. I was actually trying to get a couple more thousandths out of it, but it didn't take what I wanted. So I'm going to use this longer telescope gauge and see if I can get down here and check this bottom, but I don't know if I'm going to get a good reading like this, but we'll try it. I wanted to see how close it was. So yeah, it's the same, 1 inch 126. So I believe I'm going to leave it like that. I did want a couple more thou, but I'll just, if I need to, I'll just hit it real lightly with a flapper, try to get another 1/1000th or 2 out of it. And I need to get it apart and see if those bars are going to clamp in there with the bolts. We might have to do a little bit of cutting on a couple of them bolts there. Alright, so I got her set back up like I had when I drilled the holes, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and bust this loose and test the fit of the handlebar itself and see if it works with the bolts looking like they might interfere a little bit. So I'm getting ready to do that. I wanted to give a quick thanks to my buddy Gil. He was at Lowe's today. He came and paid me a visit, and whenever he was there, he asked me if there was anything I needed. I said, well, there's always things I need, but that don't mean I have the money to pay for it. I said, I really need some new batteries for the DeWalt because my batteries were going bad. So he went and looked, and they had the, you could buy one 18 volt XRP battery for $99, or you could buy a 2-pack of 18 volt XRP batteries for $99. So they had a 2-pack there for 99 bucks on sale. So I told him, I said, hell man, pick them up for me. So Gil picked me up the pack of batteries for my DeWalt. Now it's working, and every time I come over here to the mill to use it, my battery's dead. Got to charge it, can't use it. So now I got some fresh batteries for my drill motor. So thank you, Gil, for picking me up the batteries, and I appreciate that, buddy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and bust this thing loose, and we're gonna go ahead and test fit these handlebars real quick. All right, here we go. We got the 2 halves, and I'm just gonna move the drill over here. All right. That's a close fit. I think I need to flap them a little bit. Let's see if the bolts line up. Okay, so I've got all 4 of the bolts started, and actually whenever I was boring this thing, even though I offset it to, which was this side of it, the bore came through into where these 2 bolts come down through there. So I'm actually getting interference with all 4 bolts onto the handlebar, and it's not much, but the threads of the bolts are just touching the handlebar here. So you can screw all these down. They're a little bit snug, but you're getting a little bit of resistance from it, and I don't want to play with this too much because I keep putting scratches on it. Alright, so I actually just got off the phone with Chris. I called him and told him the problems that we were running into here, and he was actually already kind of expecting this because he's seen it before, and he told me, he says, do not worry about it, to go on with it, because this is his stunt bike, and he said just don't sweat it. So I'm taking the handlebar back off. And you can see we've got us it's a close fit on here. We're getting a little bit of rub in here. It's rubbing the paint off of it. So whenever I'm done with this job, I'm probably going to go ahead and bolt this back on there. I'm going to run my flapper through here just to kind of open it up just a little bit more, because it is a very close fit. You can see that I can set that on there, and it's tight, which is good. It's a good fit, but you know, this is a machinist fit, right? You probably want a little bit more clearance than that, but I was shooting for that and just didn't get it the way I wanted it. So alright, so I'm going to go ahead and move this stuff off out of the way. Alright, and next thing I want to do, I'm going to set up a mill, and I'm going to go ahead and mill the top of these trees, or not, these aren't the trees, these are the risers, I guess you'd call them. And I'm going to take a little bit of metal off these so that there is some clamping area there to pull down tight on the bar. So I'm going to get set up, I'm going to find me a cutter, and we'll mill a little bit off of those. Alright, just getting ready to do a little bit of milling here, just using a 3/4 4 flute end mill. And coming up and getting ready to touch off. I've already measured them to see how flat that plane was, and I'm getting a few thousandths difference between that side and this side, which really isn't a big deal what we're doing here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so I'm touching that side there, right? Come over here to this side. Alright, it's not touching. I'll set my 0. We'll come up and see. Okay, I just moved it 4 thousandths. And it's just cutting the paint off. So that's pretty good for a casting. So what I'm going to do to give it a little bit of gap there, we want to take a 30-second off. Move it up 31. And that's what clearance is going to be there. Okay, well that's it. All right, I just got to do a little bit of deburring, and I'll get rid of these sharp edges on it, bolt it back together, and I'm going to do a little bit of flapping in here, and that job will be done. Hey guys, all right, so I finally got Chris's clamps here done. All right, we got them line bored. And I called him and talked about the problem that we're having here with the bolts. Maybe you can see that in the video. The bolts that's coming through this way is just barely interfering with the diameter here, 1.8 inch diameter. But I called him and he said don't worry about that, he's going to run them anyway. He just uses this bike for stunting. So I went ahead and I deburred everything. I ran my flapper through there on both sides to kind of dress it up. And really all I got left to do is to put it back together, because he brought it to me. See, there's your Speedo. And all that does is that fits in there like that. And then you got to hook your wire up on the back side here. And here's the plug that's going to plug into here, and you got another rubber boot that seals it, and then the cover plate that goes down, and there's the 2 screws that pulls everything down, and you got the wire hanging out here. So I'm going to do that off camera and get it back together for him. But I think the job ended up turning out okay. And like I said, I talked to him and told him what we were running into, and he said that was fine, so we went with it. So this one's done for him, and he's getting ready to do a show here in a couple weeks, he said. And I'm hoping to maybe find a couple pictures that I can show some of his cool stunts that he does on the bikes, and I'm going to throw up in the video here for you. So anyway, so this job's done. Chris is ready to go, and appreciate you guys watching. Okay, I hope it was fun for you. It was fun for me. I was glad to share it with you, and thank you for checking it out. All right, guys, go pick out another job to start on. Okay. Hey, I just thought I'd give you guys a final look at this setup right here. There's the clamps and the handlebars, and they fit in there. They're nice and snug. I just put it all back together. I put the tag back in there. Just wanted you guys to see what it looks like. So, you know, these bolted up to the trees. Feel nice. It's my style, Chris. I like it, man. I like the dirt bike bars. So he can loosen these up and he can rotate these bars where he needs to, but it's actually a nice tight fit. So I think it'll work out pretty good for him. Just wanted you guys to see that.